Why do we keep repeating the same patterns? Why do we react the way we do? Today we talk about human behavior. I have the honor of introducing Chiyul to Defy the Odds.
Hi, John.
Chi, thank you so much for your time and thank you for your willingness to share. So, if anyone doesn't know, I know Chiyul and her family for a very long time already, and I'm very honored to get her on the podcast and excited for this conversation. Chi, my first question is, you wear a lot of hats, Chi. Behavior consultant, premarital counselor, marriage counselor, relationship, and teen parenting. What brought you into this space, Chi?
Karena banyak hal yang I've experienced before.
Yeah.
In my marriage, especially kayak my marriage saved by grace in 2013. That's why we dedicate our marriage to save marriage.
Yeah.
And actually human itu is about relational being, right? Kayak semuanya itu dari relationship. Makanya kenapa I studied human behavior juga and also certified from that juga untuk kayak ngebantu orang tahu how they see themselves and how actually when they see themselves like this, they actually can treat others like how they see themselves gitu, something like that. Makanya kenapa I wear a lot of hat in that.
Yeah.
And then kalau teen parenting, obviously, karena I have 4 teens in my house, and I actually learn a lot from them.
Of course.
Jadi sebenarnya kalau misalnya dibilang, oh parenting tuh sebenarnya parents yang ngajarin anaknya. Oh, I can say no.
Yeah.
I learn a lot from them justru gitu. Gimana I grow dari seorang Iyul yang dulunya selfish jadi selfless. Seorang Iyul yang dulunya gampang marah, gampang emosi, jadi how to regulate your emotion. How to talk with my teens better gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi a lot of things tuh sebenarnya by experience from my past.
Yeah.
Jadi and I have thank God gitu. Maksudnya I punya teachable heart yang I mau belajar terus deh.
Yeah.
Kayaknya nggak bisa nih kalau misalnya Iyo cuma stuck di sini. That's why I wear a lot of hats di situ.
Wow, amazing, Ci. Ci, kalau kita lihat across people that speak to you, clients gitu, kan pasti Ci you're exposed to so much behavior gitu kan, Ci ya. Menurut Ci, like what behavior yang paling you see tuh bisa merusak misalnya pertemanan atau juga relationships atau memang ada yang beda-beda, tapi yang paling comes to your mind?
Yang comes to my mind is actually when they think about themselves. It's all about me.
Okay.
Jadi they expect others to understand your behavior.
Yeah.
They expect others to understand you and your wounds and whatever you carry. Tapi dia nggak mau understand other people gitu. Jadi itu yang sebenarnya yang aku lihat paling bisa jeopardize the relationship.
Jadi itu selfish dong, Ci?
Ya, bisa dibilang begitu.
Tapi gimana orang mau keluar dari it's not all about me, it's about someone else gitu, Ci? Like it's about me from being selfish to selfless. Yes. How?
Ya, I think setiap orang kan balik ya. Setiap orang banyak wounds, banyak past experience yang mereka carry. Mungkin dari itu mereka protect themselves from hurt. Makanya kenapa mereka melihat dirinya sendiri dulu nih. I have to survive gitu. By surviving ya mereka mikirnya adalah ya I have to care to myself dulu gitu dibanding gue ngeliat orang lain. Banyak yang seperti itu karena fear. Nah makanya gimana caranya move dari selfish ke selfless? Yaitu you need to have humility. Yeah. You need to have a teachable heart juga, di mana you nggak mau stuck di situ doang, but you want to grow and learn to be a better human gitu kan? Karena you have to be aware juga kalau kita di sini kita ini diciptakan untuk berelasi. Jadi it's never been about you gitu, dari you kecil juga it's never been about you gitu. Jadi you have to be aware of that juga sih. And a lot of I said to my orang-orang yang counseling bimbingan pranikah premarital, I said ada 3 gitu yang bisa lihat. Yang satu adalah identity, yang kedua adalah capacity, yang ketiga adalah community. Nah di situ you can grow pada saat you bisa melihat identitas you yang benar ya, yang pasti bukan dari labels tapi dari who God says about you.
Amen.
Ya, because He's the one yang create you gitu.
Correct.
Jadi you have to know your identity from the Creator Himself.
Yeah.
Yang kedua adalah capacity, how you regulate your emotion, how you talk to people, how you be a better human lah, maksudnya how you manage your emotion, how manage your whatever it is in you gitu.
Yeah.
And the third one is community gitu. You need to expose to someone else gitu untuk you grow. Kenapa? Ya karena kalau you sendiri di dalam goa, how can you grow gitu? Siapa standarnya? You will say that ya I'm enough like this, udahlah, gue gini aja gitu. Tapi pada saat you expose to someone else, itu besi menajamkan besi, John. Jadi di mana di situ kita bisa belajar dari mereka. Healthy community ya yang pasti. Correct. Ya. Belajar dari mereka, gimana kita mendengar sharing-sharing mereka, knowing that we are not alone, knowing that we can grow, masih ada capacity yang bisa kita stretch. Nah itu something yang for me ya itu bisa menjadi 3 faktor di mana kita bisa menjadi selfless.
Oh wow. Jadi kalau kita ngomongin identity lebih dalam, what can you share about identity? Kalau orang lagi feeling lost, kayak di orang tuh, wah gue nggak tahu where my life is going, I don't know much about myself, I'm still learning or whatever it is. What can you share more about identity?
About identity ya, identity is a very basic things that we should know gitu kan. Dan itu something yang justru basic itu yang orang biasanya mencari dan mereka stress out gitu untuk mencari identitas itu. Makanya kenapa banyak yang bilang di certain age itu mereka identity crisis.
Yeah, that's so true.
Iya kan? Karena mereka nggak tahu apa yang mereka mau tuju. Mereka nggak tahu siapa dirinya. Karena with all the labels, with all the thoughts yang mungkin mereka dapat dari masa kecil mereka, pola asuh mereka, lingkungan mereka gitu, apa yang mereka percaya tentang diri mereka, dan itu it's a process, John. It's a process di mana kita menemukan itu. Tapi prosesnya bukan dari kekuatan kita sendiri. Karena kita nggak pernah akan menemukan identitas yang benar pada saat kita mencari di dunia.
Correct.
Ya kita harus carinya di creatornya gitu. Kayak misalnya J.K. Rowling buat buku Harry Potter. Ya Harry Potter di dalam bukunya itu dia udah menulis kan, si Harry Potter identitasnya seperti ini, dia akan seperti punya power apa, tujuan dia hidup atau tujuan dia diciptakan seperti ini. Ya kalau nanya di buku nggak ada yang tahu, karena yang tahu adalah si J.K. Rowling-nya gitu. Dimana dia yang menciptakan. That's why you need to build relationship with God. Nah kalau enggak, you akan function sih di dunia function. You bisa work, you bisa punya relationship sama others, but kebanyakan feel empty.
So true.
Dia akan melihat kayak, kok gue udah punya segalanya, but still I'm empty inside. It's like you fill with all the things in the world, but your cup is broken. Jadi it's leaking gitu. Jadi it will never be enough without God. Gitu sih.
Wow. Does that tie into purpose also, Ci?
Ya of course, pastinya. Pasti kita di dunia ini diciptakan for a purpose. Nggak mungkin Tuhan ciptakan kita tuh cuman buat iseng aja lah ciptain John, iseng aja ciptain Iyul gitu, nggak mungkin. Pasti for God's purpose gitu. Dan makanya kenapa along the way kita tuh bisa ngelihat purpose kita sebenarnya nggak jauh-jauh dari hidup kita. Kayak misalnya, I'm being a counselor. Ternyata pas I look back, I tuh ngelihat bahwa dari dulu ya, dari SD, SMP, SMA gitu ya, I ngelihat banyak teman I curhat sama I. I was like kayak okay. Nah di situ terus going to marriage, terus pas marriage kita dedicate our marriage for saving marriage. Di situ lebih banyak lagi. That's why it push me untuk be better counselor. That's why I learn di LK3 namanya, I learn di foto karakter, di power karakter, I learn about that gitu. Jadi I can see that purpose of God tuh sebenarnya udah ada. Tapi gimana carinya jangan dari apa yang jauh-jauh gitu, apa yang di luar. Oh, gue lihat si John jadi podcaster, I think I want to be like him gitu. Tapi sebenarnya Tuhan nggak kasih purpose-nya itu. Nah, jadi kayak ilustrasinya gini.
Yeah.
I baru lihat tuh kemarin di Reels.
Yeah.
Jadi ada fish di dalam tank, dia tuh nggak belajar untuk swim.
Oke.
Right?
Yeah.
Kayak misalnya tree, dari seed ke tree, dia nggak belajar untuk menjadi tree. Tapi the tree and the fish yang untuk swimnya itu, dia itu udah ada di dalam seeds-nya itu, di dalam ciptaannya itu.
Yeah.
Sehingga pada saat kita justru mau keluar dari purpose, justru kita akan merasa suffocating gitu. Kayak fish keluar dari water lah, something like that. Emang purpose-nya fish adalah swim in the water.
Benar.
Tapi kalau misalnya dia mau keluar dari water, ya dia akan suffocating gitu. Dia akan mati lah intinya. Nah sama kayak purpose kita di dunia. Kalau kita keluar dari purpose-nya Tuhan, sometimes kita ngerasa kayak capek banget. Nah, tapi pada saat kita menjalani purpose-nya Tuhan dalam hidup kita, it will multiply. It will bless a lot of people. The fruits will come out naturally. Karena itu yang Tuhan ciptakan buat kita gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya nanya identity and purpose align apa enggak, menurut aku is very align. Kenapa ya? Karena Tuhan itu menciptakan kita dengan identity, kita diciptakan serupa dan segambar Dia, with the purpose yang kita carry untuk kita melakukan sesuatu di dunia ini sesuai dengan tujuan Tuhan dalam hidup kita.
Amen.
So like that sih, John.
Man, amazing. See, when we're talking about purpose juga, I feel tuh banyak orang ada bakat-bakat tertentu, Ji. Cuman mereka kan takut untuk keluarin bakat mereka karena fear of judgment, fear of failure, and that also ties in kayak, I have this, I have this capability to be someone, tapi ya takut aja. What do you think? What would you say about fear, Ji?
I think lots of people itu pasti banyak ketakutan di hidupnya. Ya, karena itu yang tadi aku bilang bahwa kita ini seperti kita sekarang ini pasti melalui proses. Dan proses itu kita juga expose with our parents, with all their fears gitu kan, yang akhirnya kita adapt itu. Maksudnya kita ambil itu, adopt. Nah, ketakutan-ketakutan itu sebenarnya real. It's valid sebenarnya kalau kita takut. Tapi ya pada saat kita ngerti siapa Tuhan, kita ngerti purpose of God in our life gitu, ya itu akan cast the fear away gitu, tau nggak? Jadi itu something yang kalau misalnya fear itu fear of judgment yang tadi you bilang, fear of judgment, fear of di reject gitu segala macam, ya itu adalah manusiawi pasti. Tapi gimana cara kita berespon yang benar? Iya dong. Kalau misalnya kita cuman hidup dalam ketakutan, kita akan jadi survival mode doang.
Benar.
Dan kita akan protecting ourselves from hurt. Sampai akhirnya waktu itu I buat ilustrasi gini. Kayak misalnya waktu itu my son itu very sensitive. Dia waktu itu ada luka di tangannya. Nah, dia kesakitan. Kalau kesakitan dia nggak mau dipegang, even nggak mau diobatin. Jadi dia begini terus, biar dia nggak merasakan sakit itu. Jadi sama dia dilindungi. And then dari situ I dapat something gitu. Oh, when you want to make a relationship but you are protecting yourself from hurt because of fear, you will never get into the relationship yang sehat.
Wow.
Karena it's just like this. Okay, misalnya kenalan nama you. Oh, my name is Iul. But you are protecting your fear. I mean like you are protecting yourself from hurt gitu kan. And how can you have the healthy relationship kalau tangan you seperti ini? It's not gonna be nice. It's not gonna be you cannot enjoy that. Gitu. Sometimes you'll need to let go. It's okay. Feel that fear. That's alright. Tapi you have the courage to put that fear and then bring it to God. Dan Tuhan yang akan membuat your fear hilang gitu. Perfect love casts out fear, right?
Amen. Makanya I have one question about let go and let God, Ci. And what we think about that statement. Karena kan di banyak hal kan kita suka ngomong gitu, Ci. Okay, I'm doing my work, I'm doing my in whatever way, kita selalu bilang even in a relationship, let go, let God. Misalnya ceweknya kita nggak, we've tried so much and then the girl doesn't want to be with us, ya udah let go, let God, let His will be done gitu Ci. Cuman kalau let go, kalau kita lagi ngomongin juga Ci yang tadi about holding on because of fear, a lot of people that are hurting and have labels that they put on themselves,
Right.
karena apapun itu yang pernah terjadi di hidup mereka, gimana juga Ci mereka mau let go, karena kan kadang-kadang mereka tuh selalu, I know this word is used a lot, Ci. Trauma.
Right.
Used so much, like trauma. My parents created trauma for me. Jadi itu semua menjadi bukan alasan, itu memang ya udah karena ini terjadi, ya udah gue responnya selalu begini karena trauma. You don't deal with that trauma, Ci.
Yeah.
How do people deal with trauma then?
I think one of the thing yang I selalu percaya ya. I selalu percaya bahwa kita ini dibentuk, diciptakan serupa dan segambar dengan Tuhan. We have power inside of us untuk melakukan apa yang Tuhan suruh kita lakukan.
Yeah.
Don't give in to trauma. Yes, if you cannot do it alone, seek help.
Yeah.
Ya, mungkin dengan yang I bilang community.
Yeah.
Mungkin dengan seek professional help, mungkin dengan go to your priest atau pendeta atau whoever yang you trust, yang you trust dan healthy ya.
Yeah.
Nah, jangan juga kayak you go to the toxic community, they will accept you for sure gitu, tapi value-nya akan beda. Nah, jadi pada saat you punya trauma, don't give in. Maksudnya jangan sampai kita kayak ya a lot of excuse pasti untuk, karena kita akan mencari apa yang comfortable dan familiar for us. Dan itu udah terjadi bertahun-tahun.
Yeah.
Dan sometimes we cannot let go because it is part of us now. Nah, sometimes Tuhan itu nggak menciptakan you with the trauma. Tuhan itu menciptakan you with the right identity and purpose.
Yeah.
So the trauma itu dihasilkan dari dunia. Right? So instead of kita fokus on the trauma, you know, the hurt, the wound, the bitterness yang kita udah alami sebelumnya, why don't we focus on the things yang set our focus on Jesus gitu, set our focus on God, set our focus on the purpose yang Tuhan lihat gitu, set our focus on the strength yang Tuhan kasih di diri kita, the power to heal, the power to speak encouragement, the power to worship, the power to praise gitu kan, the power to build ourselves up. And the power to surrender to God. Itu ada di dalam diri kita. We have to draw it out aja gitu. Gimana caranya kita, ya itu, kalau nggak bisa sendiri, cari orang yang bisa. Nah, itu diperlukan komunitas seperti itu, John. Jadi, kita itu punya akal sehat, kita punya budi pekerti, kita punya our soul, dan kita, I percaya gitu, kita bisa kok menyelesaikan trauma itu. Amen. Kita bisa kok nggak hidup di dalam luka-luka masa lalu kita. Bisa kok. Orang Tuhan set us free. Amen. We are free. Tapi do we want to live as a free man atau kita mau tetap di slave by that wound? Nah itu kan our choice.
Benar.
Apalagi kita udah adult ya. Pasti kita punya akal yang lebih sehat gitu. Our brain udah develop well gitu kan. So we have a choice untuk kita memilih. Do we want to still live in the past atau kita mau lihat ke depan? Itu sih John.
Ya karena banyak orang bisa pakai itu sebagai ya udah
excuse.
Jadi udah I don't want to be in a relationship
because of the familiarity.
Oh, you don't know what happened to me, like kan banyak sih ngomong begitu. Tapi kan as you said, kalau orang udah ya tapi nggak bisa dibilang juga, maksudnya a person in a young age can have a very mature mindset gitu kan. It's not about the age, it's more about the way they think. And as you said, why kita kan look to God and He's the one that can heal our trauma.
Only Him for me.
Rather than looking towards man. I want to ask this question also about when we're talking about fear. I've heard also, you know, some people say because my parents had this fear, let's just say a fear of heights.
Okay.
Because of that, it translates to anak-anaknya juga ada fear yang sama. Is that correct or is that just?
Jadi memang pada saat kita dilahirkan, kita itu nggak dilahirkan dengan worry. Kita kan cuman kalau mau makan, mau makan, I'm hungry gitu kan. Nggak ada worry kita nggak dapat makanan or anything gitu kan. Nah, the fear itu dan worry itu kita ngelihat dari apa yang kita lihat. Karena anak kecil itu lebih banyak melihat dibanding mendengar. Bener kan? Nah, jadi kita itu melihat, patternnya orang tua kita gimana, terus gitu bagaimana mereka menghadapi atau solve the problem, bagaimana mereka merespon kekurangan mereka gitu kan, itu something yang kita adopt sih sebenarnya. Tapi again kita punya power untuk choose kan.
Correct.
Apalagi kita sekarang udah bisa dan responsible for our life, bukan our parents lagi gitu. Jadi for me kalau misalnya kita fear because of my parents gitu. I have a story gitu kan. I have bitterness with my parents tanpa I sadarin ternyata yang membuat I jadi my relationship with money is not good. I always pelit gitu with myself, apalagi with myself gitu kan. Dan I melihat bahwa my parents ini dulu lebih mikirin orang lain dibanding I. Dia lebih sering ngebantu misalnya the big family. I nggak bisa spoiled kan. I nggak bisa keluar negeri nih gara-gara my parents pakai duitnya buat bantuin orang. Sedangkan my friends keluar negeri, anak kecil lah ya mikirnya seperti itu yang dia lihat aja dan dia compare sama orang. And then akhirnya I bitter tuh di situ. Terus udah gitu I got married when I was 22.
Wow.
Pretty young. I had my first daughter di umur 24.
Wow.
I had my fourth daughter, maksudnya yang 4 kids itu di umur 29, going 30.
Oh, udah.
Jadi very young.
Very young.
Jadi I feel like when I masuk di dalam marriage, I udah nggak jadi daughter lagi gitu. And I actually craving to be a daughter.
Wow.
Sedangkan my mom expected me untuk you udah married gitu. Ya udah bantu yang di other, maksudnya kayak misalnya makan gitu kan.
Prioritasnya jadi.
Prioritasnya jadi you udah punya gitu kan. You udah punya sendiri. You udah oke lah hidupnya bagi my mom gitu kan. And I feel kayak kok pilih kasih dia. Kok dia lebih bayarin yang the other side of the family dibanding kayak mau bayarin I gitu. Very selfish lah itu. Again selfish.
But it happens.
It happened. And maksudnya by bitterness grew di situ. Kok I jadi compare sama another mom, sama another parents gitu. I jadi nggak mau ketemu. Kalau ketemu nanti gue terus yang bayarin, something like that. And waktu itu sempat like 2 years ago, I think I came clean with my mom gitu. Kayak, hey, you know mom, I have this wound, you begini. I nangis di situ. My mom, as usual dia kasih tahu why, kenapa I did this, bla 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 segala macem. And then my story bukan berarti itu langsung kayak tiba-tiba jadi pulih, enggak. Tapi the emotion yang tadinya kuat, jadi makin lama makin dikit gitu loh. Kayak I udah nggak terlalu ke-trigger lagi sama omongan-omongan atau sama misalnya my mom berkati orang gitu. Malah I'm so blessed punya my mom yang bisa berkati orang. Bukan dia yang minta-minta tapi dia yang memberi gitu. Jadi I'm so inspired. Yang tadinya kacamata I ngelihat my mom so pilih kasih sama I. Sekarang I punya kacamata perspektif yang lain. I ngelihat my mom is amazing gitu. Jadi for me itu dia gitu. Pada saat kita mau try to take action out of it, out of our trauma, kita talk about it, kita expose sama orang yang mungkin kasih kita trauma secara sengaja or tidak sengaja. It's uncomfortable, yes. It's for me kayak wah gila, gua ngomong apa sama nyokap gua gitu. Walaupun kita deket ya, tapi it's heavy banget di I. Tapi I choose to do that, and it heals me. Tapi progresif, maksudnya kayak proses ya, nggak langsung gitu. Jadi itu sih John, it's our choice.
Yeah, so it is our choice for sure. Ci, I've never really fully understood this, and I've asked questions. Tapi it's also in my. I am also. I've done this too. Obviously, maybe because to fill a void in my life that I also sometimes would have filled because thinking having someone in my life would have filled the void. So I don't see red flags gitu, Ci. Jadi lampunya merah tapi hijau in my eyes.
Right.
So I ignore the red flags because of trying to fill, trying to say that, okay, there's only, this person can change. This person is actually,
Yeah.
ya gitu aja, all those reasons. And I want to know what is the behavior that, not only me, I know a lot of people are like that gitu. Jadi kita nggak lihat red flags aja gitu, Ci. What is that pattern that is inside people?
I think I kemarin lihat reels juga. I learn a lot from reels,
Yeah,
by the
of
way.
course.
Nah, jadi kita disuruh kayak ngelihat dalam 5 detik. Aku ngelihat semua objek yang biru.
Yeah.
And then udah nih dalam 5 detik dia nanyanya bukan yang biru. Apa yang pertama objek yang warna kuning yang lo lihat?
Yeah.
Dia nggak ngelihat karena dia
Yeah.
fokusnya on yang biru gitu kan.
Benar.
Ya, it's the same thing gitu with what we see from people, from others.
Yeah.
Kita yang menentukan apa yang mau kita lihat sebenarnya, right? Jadi kayak misalnya kamu melihat, I try not to see the bad things atau the weakness atau the red flags yang you bilang kan. Tapi you choose to see the green flags.
Yeah.
Kenapa? Because maybe ada things yang you takut untuk lihat.
Ya, karena itu bakal make me let go of the relationship. Because kan ya udah kayak it's not gonna work out. So then kita choose to see the good things.
Yes. And somehow kenapa? Ya because of how you build dari masa lalu you, dari pola asuh, pergaulan, apa you believe. Nah, itu kan something yang efek yang berdampak dengan apa yang you lihat kan.
Yeah.
Nah, makanya kenapa sometimes you need to learn lagi gitu, lagi. Sebenarnya apa sih yang kamu mau cari dari seorang wife gitu atau seorang pasangan, right?
Yeah.
Nah, dari situ don't lower that standard.
Yeah.
Kalau misalnya jadi red flag ya udahlah gue terima aja. Tapi knowing that there's no perfect person, gak ada yang perfect.
True.
Nah, tapi tetap ada things yang you should have. Maksudnya list yang you should have in a relationship. Nah, itu yang nggak bisa dikompromi. Tapi ada things yang nice to have. Nah, itu boleh lah dikompromi. You should have, like misalnya mesti sepadan, seiman, apa. Nah, jangan lower that standard because of you think that kayaknya nggak ada yang mau nih sama gue yang punya this kind of standard. Nah, itu kan come out from your fear, from your insecurity. So daripada mikirin nyari cewek dulu, ya mendingan try to fix what we need to fix gitu kan, which is the perspective. You have to know your identity. You have to know what God tells about you gitu. You have to know kayak purpose of God in you gitu. Nah, carilah pasangan yang bisa live the purpose in God together with you.
Wow.
Di situ. Itu.
Tapi Ci, sekarang kalau we talk about premarital, right? Sekarang a couple comes to you and talks about and they go through that process, Ci. Maksudnya, is there behaviors that you feel couples are just, kan alasannya banyak Ci kan? Like when I'm talking to people also, ya udah ini, gue udah umur gini John, and like people come up to me and say till today like, oh John, you're gonna be an old dad. Like, all these comments, society always just throws. They just throw it. They just keep saying it all the time. So a lot of not valid reasons have been given, people give to get married gitu, Ci. I'm sure you deal with that too, Ci, because tapi kan gimana gitu, Ci, kalau di premarital, kalau couple udah ketemuan, Ci, udah ngobrol and all these things, what is the pattern that you feel that people are just rushing to marriage with gitu? Kenapa? What pattern do you see?
Patternnya, first of all pasti nanya, what is marriage to you? Why do you want to get marriage kan? Into another step gitu.
Yeah.
Nah, kalau misalnya dia bilang ya I know that I can be happy, tapi itu selfish. Kalau lu nggak bisa happy sama your pasangan, terus udah bye gitu. Kan nggak bisa gitu, ya kan? Yeah. Nah, terus yang kedua patternnya apa?
Yeah.
Patternnya adalah pada saat mereka try to change other people to suit their expectation.
True.
Nah, itu nggak akan pernah bisa gitu, John.
Yeah.
Nah, makanya kenapa banyak orang yang mau merit itu, mereka tuh sebenarnya mau kabur dari apa kata orang, ya kan? Makanya kayak lu ngapain milih-milih, udahlah jangan terlalu picky. Ini lu udah umur berapa sekarang gitu kan? Tapi there's no limitation in the marriage age gitu. Kayak lu boleh married kapan aja gitu. Jangan sampai lu married terus tiba-tiba lu divorce. Lu marriage terus lu nggak suka, malah it really breaks you gitu. Nah, mendingan dari sini lu prepare yourself. Oke, lu mau married karena apa? Terus di situ jangan mikirin apa kata orang. Karena your life is not my life. And vice versa.
Benar.
Makanya selalu bilang, oke, kalau misalnya lu mikirin kata orang, terus tiba-tiba lu fail di marriage. Are you gonna sue that man? Enggak kan? It's your choice.
Benar.
Your choice is your responsibility gitu. Jadi you have to be able to choose for yourself. Jangan dari apa kata orang. Mereka nggak hidupin you kok gitu. Mereka nggak menghidupi hidup kamu gitu. Makanya kalau di premarital marriage premarital counseling, itu I selalu bilang sama mereka, menurut ini ada potential konflik yang akan terjadi seperti ini. Do you accept that or not? Kalau lu bisa accept, go ahead. Kalau enggak, better not. Ya kan? Karena pada saat konflik itu datang dan misalnya the responnya sangat toxic. Kalau you punya anak, itu akan create another you, mini you, dan it will never stop gitu. Kalau misalnya nggak ada yang aware, gitu kan. Nah, jadi pas mereka lagi premarital, saya selalu bilang, cari jelek-jelek ya. Can you deal with that for the rest of your life?
Wow.
Iya dong.
Iya benar.
Iya, karena anggap aja you cannot change the person. Anggap aja you nggak bisa change. This is the package that you will open di marriage, sama gitu. You cannot return back. Bisa nggak you deal with this kind of person every single day? Dan ini cuman surface doang loh. Belum lagi nanti trigger-trigger muncul pada saat financial issue, pada saat punya anak. Ada trigger-trigger yang munculnya nanti. Nah, ini baru kayak bare minimum lah. Can you accept that? Kalau nggak bisa, better not gitu. Tapi I juga believe you nggak bisa, maksudnya gini, kita ini nggak harus menjadi perfect dulu to come into a relationship called marriage. Sometimes we fix each other juga waktu di dalam proses pernikahan itu. Sometimes triggernya bitterness-nya ke reveal, wounds-nya ke reveal. Nah, itu gimana kita punya pasangan yang bisa saling help us, bukan malah destroy us. Nah, itu yang perlu kita tahu gitu. The must have in our spouse itu apa? Bisa nggak kita bertumbuh bersama di sini? Kalau dari awal udah nggak bisa, dari awal you feel unsafe to talk about your feelings secara real, gimana nantinya ke depan? There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things to decide. Iya kan?
Benar.
Gitu.
Tapi orang masih ada yang tetap lanjut tuh, Ci.
Because bagi mereka itu shortcut to run away from the life they have today. Itu shortcut. Dan dia punya hope. I hope my marriage nggak kayak my mom's or dad's marriage. Tapi pas dia melalui marriage ini, ternyata zong. Ternyata justru apa yang dia pilih biasanya, yang familiar, yang seperti yang tadi bilang, biasanya yaitu yang dia pilih justru seperti apa yang dia takutin. Biasanya seperti itu.
Wow. Ci, I want to ask a question. So when you got married, all this like identity and Did you have that figured out as well?
No, of course I was 22 that time.
That's why it's like, did you, because like if I talk about my parents, if I talk about other people that I know that got married at a very young age,
Yeah.
they're not so like exposed to, you know, maybe even premarital counseling and all of that. I think it's like a learn as you go kind of situation. But right now we're exposed to that.
Ya, I think nggak ada yang one size fits all ya.
So true.
Tapi it's gonna be better if you do a premarital counseling.
For sure.
So you know what you are choosing, ya kan? Nah, dulu waktu I get married sama Konat, my husband, itu dulu masih muda. I don't have any role model in my community. I nggak punya community, I nggak punya mentor, nggak punya tuh yang namanya beginian gitu kan, kayak reels podcast, kayak Defy the Odds yang I bisa dengerin, nggak ada gitu. Tapi ya itu learning by doing gitu. Tapi the first 5 years was like hell. Kayak kita, ya hell is exaggerating sih. Tapi benar-benar kayak kita tuh harus berdarah-darah dulu gitu. That's why kalau bisa premarital, you can skip this. Mungkin nggak skip as a whole gitu, tapi prosesnya bisa diminimize yang berdarah-darah itu. And then makanya kenapa kita tuh benar-benar encourage orang untuk premarital. Jadi kita bisa lihat, malah kalau bisa jangan premarital sebelum you decide dia ini jadi pasangan you or not gitu. Sebelum you propose kalau bisa. Jadi bisa tahu. Nah dari situ I did my marriage gitu kan without the identity, without the purpose, a lot of fightings, dan akhirnya my first daughter tuh trauma.
Oh wow.
Iya. Karena kita nggak pernah belajar. Nah belajarnya dari experience. Nah makanya kenapa kita mau bantu orang. Jangan sampai nanti your children trauma kayak anak kita. Ya walaupun dia udah slightly pulih lah ya. Nah kita dia juga udah melihat kita bertumbuh juga, dia udah melihat kita change juga gitu. It's a process, it's a journey. Tapi kalau bisa jangan. Tapi kalau memang sudah terlanjur pun, I believe semua manusia punya prosesnya masing-masing.
Benar.
Untuk dia meet God. Untuk dia melihat dan dia bertumbuh dari situ. Makanya setiap journey, either you wanna see that as treasure or pressure. Apakah itu menjadi sesuatu yang berharga untuk you learn out of it, atau menjadi pressure for you to destroy yourself and think yourself less. Itu kan. Nah makanya for me kalau bisa identity, purpose, calling along the way. Caranya build your relationship with God. Kalau emang you belum ketemu gitu misalnya, at least you know where you talk. Maksudnya you memberikan identitas you, atau you cari identitas you sama siapa, sama Tuhan gitu yang benar. Jangan dari orang-orang. Nah jadi itu something yang for me I encourage. I encourage you guys. Kalau mau married, do premarital. Ada mentor, ada community yang sehat. Untuk bisa kita bertumbuh bersama di situ. Gitu. Kadang ada blind spot yang kita nggak bisa lihat, tapi orang bisa lihat. Orang yang care sama kita ya. Nah itu makanya penting banget.
But it's also the high level of awareness that you and Konat have, right? Maksudnya you also want to talk to your daughter about the trauma that she's going through, because you don't want her to have the trauma. Because some people also seek advice outside because their parents don't want to deal with that trauma, and sometimes, to be honest, some parents don't even acknowledge trauma. They feel like itu tuh nggak ada. What are you talking about trauma? Karena kalau kita ngomong the other generations, di orang kan ya udah powered through everything. They don't like, you gotta be strong. It doesn't matter what you face, and there's nothing like trauma.
Benar. Talking about that ya, selalu banyak yang bilang kayak dulu zaman dulu gue dipukul disabet pakai belt. I'm good. Look at me now gitu kan. Tapi kan it's different. Zaman dulu kan nggak ada gadget. Zaman dulu kan voice-nya minimal. Kalau sekarang there's a lot of voices gitu around us gitu kan. Noise yang kita tuh kayak wah ini bener apa enggak gitu. Dan a lot of things yang kelihatannya benar tapi ternyata tidak. Right? Nah jadi kalau misalnya kita mau pakai cara kita yang zaman dulu, ya mungkin works in some kids, tapi doesn't work in everyone gitu kan. Nah, tapi for me, I choose to, ya udah, gua nggak mau sampai anak gua di-accept sama orang yang value-nya berbeda sama apa yang Tuhan kasih ke kita gitu. That's why cara kita adalah ya kita ngobrol sama anak-anak kita. Kita tanya juga sama mereka. Kita juga punya ya good relationship juga lah with them gitu. Kadang-kadang I juga tanya sama my second daughter si Claire, nanya, what do you think about me gitu kan? Kayak dia very honest. Jadi kadang-kadang kayak I don't wanna hear that, but ya udahlah for me to grow. Oh masa gitu ya? I thought I do a good parenting, tapi buat dia kayaknya belum cukup gitu. Tapi again, proses itu yang membuat kita bertumbuh dan menerima masukan dari orang-orang terdekat itu. Kadang it's not nice, tapi ya it's necessary for us to see. Kadang apa yang kita nggak lihat gitu kan. Nah makanya for me ya dealing with trauma itu ada real. Tapi doesn't excuse your behavior. Feelings are real, tapi not all behaviors are. And you have to control that. That's why buah-buah roh. Right, self-control, kelemah lembutan, humility, apalagi itu banyak kan, kindness and everything. Itu bukan maksudnya bukan kita yang produce. It's a product, it's a result pada saat kita abide in God, pada saat kita rooted in God. Makanya ya abide in Him.
Amen.
Gitu sih John.
But there's not a lot of parents that would ask that question to their kids, to be honest, because that's a question that you will have to receive feedback, and then you would have to look into yourself, and then also grow.
Right. It's not nice to hear the things yang mereka feel about us.
But it's so good though, Chi, because then you have an even closer bond with your kids.
Yes, I can say that. I don't know about my kids. Tapi for me, yang I can control adalah how can I grow? How can I respond to any kind of situation yang ada gitu? And how can I fix myself? Tapi di luar itu, ya itu out of my control. Ya udah, I surrender to God.
Amen.
Karena kalau enggak ya you will worry. What are they gonna think about me ya? Nanti mereka mikirnya gimana ya gitu, yang kayak gitu. You will never be free kalau misalnya kayak gitu. Dulu I kayak gitu. I was a people pleaser.
Sampai you're the only one though, Chi. a lot of people are.
I think because of the things yang kayak maybe I'm a middle child juga. I need to, climb for attention untuk mendapatkan kayak my parents' attention. Karena waktu lahir aja udah ada kompetitor. Right?
I'm the middle child too.
Yes. Pas kita udah mulai bertumbuh, kita udah mulai get a hang of it. Tiba-tiba another competitor muncul gitu kan. Dan selalu I merasa kayak I need to please people so they can accept me. But you know what? Sometimes I'm being too nice to people, and I sacrifice my own family, and it's not nice. And then there's one story yang menurut I amazing banget. I belajar ini waktu I prepare the sermon about identity. Jadi ada satu orang yang di-assign dia mau kerja di lighthouse. Terus kayak gitu orangnya bilang, oke, tapi pada saat you kerja, gue kasih lo oil supply for 1 month, limited. Jadi emang cukup buat 1 bulan. Nah pas dia kerja di situ, hari pertama neighbornya datang. Ini dingin banget nih, I want a little bit of oil dong buat my heater gitu. Dikasih lah, just being nice. The second day, orang lainnya, neighbor lainnya datang. Minta dong buat masak, dikasih lah. Sampai akhirnya mungkin gosip ya, bisa, lu bisa ngambil oil gratis tuh sama si lighthouse man gitu. Akhirnya pada datang, and the end of the month, pas dia harus menyalakan lampu dari lighthouse-nya, dia baru realize oilnya habis. Then suddenly the storm came, and banyak ship yang crash. Terus akhirnya investigator datang. Ditanyalah masih the lighthouse man, what did you do gitu kan? Kok lu nggak nyalain? Oil gua habis. Kenapa oil lu habis? Ya soalnya I'm being nice to the neighbors gitu kan. Soalnya mereka perlu ini. It seems good. Maksudnya kelihatannya baik. Tapi si bosnya bilang gini, you have one job to do, to light up the lighthouse, but you fail. Jadi harus dibedakan, being nice and being kind, being nice and being right.
Wow.
Kalau misalnya you're being nice tapi you tidak melakukan purpose you dengan baik, yes, you're not doing a purpose intinya. Akhirnya apa? Akhirnya you jeopardize everything gitu kan. Nah makanya kenapa kita harus tahu the righteous thing to do. Kadang-kadang righteous thing to do sometimes it's not nice. Sometimes you have to slap people in the face to let them know and to wake them up. You are wrong. Atau you have to teriak karena mereka udah mau jatuh ke jurang. But you have to do it gitu. Even though it's not being nice gitu. Gitu. Jadi itu something yang I belajar banget. Oh sekarang I cannot please a lot of people. I only can please God. Kalau I please God, ya mau nggak mau pasti yang ini ya will naturally be pleased gitu. Even though ya pasti nggak ada yang bisa, pasti ada yang against us juga gitu kan, John. But that's alright, you know.
Alright,
Tuhan Yesus juga nggak semua orang suka sama dia kan.
Iya, for sure. Amazing, Chi. I want to talk about forgiveness.
Okay.
So this is a term that, not a term, but it's something that someone told me 2 years ago, and even when I was in school. They asked me, John, have you forgiven yourself? Then I was like, what do you mean? I thought I need to just forgive people. But I didn't even realize that forgiving myself for some of maybe decisions that I made out of my own free will is something that I needed to do too, to let go of maybe the pain I was hanging on to. So it is something I was not aware of. I don't know what your perspective on that is also, Chi. And also, again, forgiving other people for maybe whatever they have done to you and you're holding on to.
Kalau I percaya, when you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others. How can you give something you don't have? Intinya itu, right? Good. When you can forgive yourself, you know gitu, kayak, you know what? I'm human gitu. There's a lot of flesh in me. Dan kita hidup di dunia yang penuh dengan dosa gitu kan. Nah makanya kita kadang kalau pakai kekuatan sendiri kita nggak bisa. Then pada saat you forgive yourself, you can forgive others nggak easily ya. Tapi ya lebih bisa forgive others. Kenapa? Karena it comes out from your abundance. Di Matius 22, the greatest commandment dibilang apa? Love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and love others as you love yourself. Berarti ada 3 bagian di sini adalah pertama love God. It's very easy to love God because He created us. He created this universe and everything inside of it. It's easy. And then love others as you love yourself. Yang kedua berarti love yourself dulu dong. Because when we love others as you love yourself, gimana caranya kita nggak tahu gitu. Makanya love yourself gitu. Love yourself bukan berarti you are selfish. Wah, it's all about me. I have to put myself first. No, tapi lebih kayak I accept that love yang Tuhan udah kasih loh ke gue. Ternyata I am a beloved child of God. Tuhan ini mati buat dosa-dosaku gitu. So you do everything out of the abundance of love from God. Then you can share the love to others juga from the place of abundance rather than the place of lack. So you nggak mengais-ngais validasi dari orang lain. Karena even though mereka nggak validasi you anyway, you give them anyway gitu, karena there's overflowing love from God, overflowing forgiveness from God gitu, yang you bisa kasih ke orang-orang. Jadi forgive yourself itu penting. Kenapa? Ya karena you bisa ngerti, ternyata gue selama ini self-aware, gue selama ini melakukan hal-hal yang mungkin free will yang kamu bilang, tapi is actually not right. Then you dari situ pada saat you self-aware, you accept that, you aware, you accept, and then you act upon it,
Yeah.
then you will be free man gitu.
Yeah.
And dari situ pas orang lain melakukan kesalahan sama kamu, it's very, you can see from different perspective. You know what gitu, there's no one perfect.
Yeah.
I did mistake too.
Yeah.
And I forgive myself and God forgive me for that. That's why pada saat orang berbuat salah, kita ngelihat dari kacamata yang lain, kita melihat bahwa you know what, maybe dia nggak sengaja, ya mungkin dia lagi not in the right mind.
Yeah.
Tapi doesn't mean you allow that behavior to happen lagi gitu kan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tapi it actually set you free
Yeah.
from the bitterness yang you carry for holding on to the grudge.
Yeah.
Gitu sih.
How do parents, karena kan when I was growing up too, sometimes kan kita takut to talk to our parents because, you know, sometimes you're fearful that they may respond in a bad way. You know, like some parents, some kids, Mom, I'm going to tell you this, but don't get angry.
Right.
Okay, fear as authority harus ada kan,
Yes.
for sure, as parents. But sometimes that fear makes children be like, okay, I'm just gonna do things behind their back because I'm so scared to, because maybe they've not created the openness, you know, like I have comfortable relationship with my parents that I can tell them everything. They don't terlalu takut, Ci. How do you think some parents should be better at that so their kids are not so scared of them?
Ya, ya itu, that's our job as parents juga gitu, untuk read the room and untuk grow, belajar terus untuk menjadi parents. Sometimes parents itu kita merasa kita tuh adopt dari pola asuh parent kita sebelumnya.
Yeah,
You're right.
for sure, for sure,
Parent
I
kita
agree.
kayak, pokoknya lu dengerin gua only one way communication, pasti ya ada lah dikit-dikit kita akan adopt that to our kids gitu kan. Nah makanya kenapa self-aware, being aware of that juga, it's very important. Terus udah gitu ya belajar, and also juga try to listen. Try to listen gitu. Kadang-kadang kita yang pengen di-listen. Kamu, you listen mami ya. Mami tuh udah makan asam garam, mami udah tua, udah segini, hidupnya udah penuh dengan pengalaman. You have to listen to me. No, they need to be listened to gitu. They kan grow up with all the hormone going on in their body. They don't know how to, you know, handle it. Kalau misalnya bukan kita yang jadi safe space-nya mereka akan go to other people yang bisa accept mereka, yang jadi safe space mereka gitu. That's why I don't want that. Belum tentu ya, again, belum tentu value-nya sama I gitu. Belum tentu value-nya benar gitu kan. That's why I try my best untuk grow up in character, in gimana caranya bikin ambience-nya enak gitu loh. Pas mereka ngomong sama I, try not to judge them, walaupun ya ada dikit-dikit ngejudge, tapi you know it's out of love, tapi ya they don't understand that juga, maksudnya kayak inilah excuse gitu kan. Tapi ya membuat safe space itu buat mereka, mendengarkan mereka, terus try to see their point of view, put myself in their shoes. Gitu. Kadang-kadang mereka a lot of things to do, a lot of kayak misalnya mau ada anak yang mau kuliah nih, bentar lagi, itu kan is a big decision of their life. It's like getting married gitu kan. Kayak when you choose the major yang nggak sesuai, you have to keluar terus balik lagi ke awal. Nah, a lot of peer pressure di situ, a lot of expectation. Nah, jadi ya we have to understand them lah, instead of being understood.
So good, Chi. Chi, the last topic, and then we'll close, about healing as well. If someone realizes that they've been choosing the same destructive patterns every time, you know, where do they even start to be able to start healing? And because kan udah selalu choosing this pattern gitu, terus-terusan destructive, and maybe they're, as you said in the beginning, they're so familiar with it. How do they get out of it?
I think first of all adalah being aware. Kalau misalnya you choose this pattern because of apa ini. Nah makanya sebenarnya reaction itu misalnya angry. Angry sebenarnya the secondary emotion yang menutupi emotion yang sebenarnya di sini. Misalnya you angry kenapa? Oh you angry karena nggak didengar.
Yeah.
You feel unseen, you feel unheard gitu kan.
Yeah.
Nah makanya kita harus tahu di dalamnya ini emotionnya apa. You have to feel it gitu. Jangan di apain ya, diredam. Kadang-kadang kita choose the destructive behavior, destructive pattern, karena kita nggak mau merasakan yang ini.
So true.
So it's easier to it's easier to be angry daripada ngerasain rejection gitu misalnya. Tapi it's okay, feel it gitu. Kalau emang ada feeling yang emotion yang kuat, feel it, okay. Tapi dari situ pada saat kita mau melakukan sesuatu, take a deep breath. Terus ya gitu, ya maybe one of the thing yang I suruh journaling. Emosi kuatnya apa aja, triggernya apa, and then choice-nya bisa apa aja nih gitu. Nah di situ kan mereka bisa lebih aware lah ya dengan apa yang mereka akan respon. Nah kalau misalnya healing itu ya sebenarnya kan your choice. Your choice, ya kalau you nggak bisa sendiri, again I encourage you to seek help. For sure. Go to healthy community, seek professional, and also kalau misalnya healing itu accept it. You have to accept it. Karena itu sesuatu yang nggak bisa diubah. It's your past. Tapi don't dwell in your past.
Wow.
You should take action and you should move forward. Walaupun you still carry that bitterness, that's okay. Tapi tetap move forward. Jadi ya don't focus on that. Focus on the purpose of God. Focus on the destination. You only live once. You know? Pasti make your life counts gitu. Jangan hidup dari bitterness after bitterness after bitterness. You don't want that, right? Sure. You wanna enjoy your life. You wanna be impactful in your life. You wanna be great about you. Berdampak kemanapun kamu berada, menjadi berkat dimanapun kamu berada.
Amen.
And also be joyful gitu. And you don't want to carry that bitterness every single day. It's not nice.
For sure. I always love this quote by Rich Wilkerson. If you never heal from people that hurt you, what hurt you, you'll bleed on people that never cut you.
Yes.
So it's like, it's also such a high level of awareness that we have that, you know, it's such a fact that I've seen people get out of relationships, langsung fill a void, just get another relationship, a rebound or whatever, just to fill that void and never deal with their feelings, as you said, you know, feel it, accept it, grow, and be aware of who you want to be.
True.
And move on to a better you.
Yes.
Kan banyak sih langsung loncat, ya udah.
Skip ya?
Iya, langsung kan, udah I have someone else sekarang, jadi udah, you never
because
feel.
they want to avoid the feelings yang mereka nggak mau gitu.
Yeah, as you said, karena they don't want to confront that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the last, is there a message that you feel you can share? Maybe, see, we've spoken about behavior, we've spoken about relationships, about teen parenting as well. Is there something in your heart about maybe even responses that people, you know, sometimes my responses over time has changed, you know, like a lot of times back in the day when I was younger, I was very reactive, right? Right now, I take time to respond. Right. Maybe I take a deep breath. I don't want to respond in a second because whatever I say, I can't take back.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot. And I think responses is such a big thing for me. Yeah. But is there something in your heart that you want to share to anyone watching, maybe about behavior, about teen parenting, or maybe a mix? A mix.
I think I suka in the Bible, the Proverbs or Psalms, Proverbs, dibilang above all else, guard your heart, for everything flows from it. Gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi it's about your heart. Apakah your heart set right gitu kan? Apakah your heart di feel-nya dengan apa gitu kan? Makanya you have to be aware of whatever you put inside your mind, whatever you listen, whatever you put inside your mouth juga, karena itu akan impact our heart juga gitu. Yeah. Makanya kenapa kita mesti abide in God.
Yeah.
Makanya I believe kenapa you bisa menjadi seorang yang responsif daripada reaktif.
Yeah.
Ya karena you masukin hal-hal yang positif ke diri you, right?
Amen. Yes.
Right kan?
100%.
Nah makanya something like this illustration. kalau misalnya kita isi cup kita sama kopi hitam pahit gitu. Pada saat kita ke-trigger atau kena tabrak sama orang, yang keluar apa? Kepahitan. All the bitterness, all the anger, the wound gitu. Tapi kalau kita isi sama hal-hal yang baik, yang keluar pun hal-hal baik. Jadi in any kind of relationship, above all else, guard your heart, for everything flows from it. So guard your heart, abide in Him, and I believe the fruits of the Spirit will come naturally to you and your life.
Amen.
Amen.
So good, Chi. Chi, thank you for your time and your story and who you are and your whole family. You guys are near and dear to me. So thank you. And guys, I'm going to put all the links for Chiyul in the description. Reach out to her, talk to her whenever you see her. And yeah, there's a lot to learn from Chiyul. Chi, thank you so much once again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share this episode with a friend, and I'll see you in the next episode.